Hello friends, welcome you back to my lecture series on the subject research methodology and intellectual property rights. This subject has been introduced by Vishwesvaraya Technological University for MBA Part 1, that is Semester 2. This subject contains two important parts. One is research methodology and second one is intellectual property rights, which is introduced in the sixth unit. I am Dr. Basaraj S. Kurchimat, your teacher for the subject IPR, research methodology and IPR. And today I'm going to discuss with you the intellectual property rights sixth unit 10th lecture series. In this lecture series, we will understand what is WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organizations. As all of you know, there are three important institutions whose role is found more in protecting intellectual property rights. One is called as WTO's two important acts established in the form of WTO Organization Implementation Mechanism. One is called as TRIPS. One is called TRIPS, that is Trade Related Intellectual Properties Services Property Act. Second one is Intellectual Trade, TRIPS, that is Trade Related Investment Measures. When two countries are transacting in the international way, where the funds flow is happening between two countries, the host country and the home country, and production activities are done, export and import is done, there is a more chance of violation of intellectual property between the countries. In order to protect the interest of the original inventors, innovators, and all that, the copyright, the patent, and the trademarks, all related things are to be protected, where WTO is intervening through two different acts to control. That we have already seen in our lecture series 8 and 9. And today, now, I'm going to discuss with you the 10th lecture series consisting WIPO, that is the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is one of the important organizations which is specifically established to protect the intellectual property rights between the countries at the world level. As all of you know that at the country level, there are a lot of laws which are being enacted by the countries to protect the intellectual property rights of the locals inventors within the boundaries of the country. When the boundaries of the countries are crossed, there is no protection for the intellectual property rights for the country's products, innovators. So they were hesitating to enter into foreign business basically when they enter or cross the border of the home country. There is a chance that the violation of the intellectual property rights may intervene in the host country. The host country may not be able to protect. So the local governments of the host country may not be favorable to the home country's intellectual property rights protection. Therefore, WTO and all these kinds of organizations entered into. World Intellectual Property Organization established to quite before the WTO. WTO came into existence on 1st January 1995, whereas World Intellectual Property Rights was established already at the between the member countries in 1967 itself. Before that only. Because of the Second World War, that is prevailing from 1st September 1939 to 1st July 1945, during that particular period, when the Second World War got over in 1945, majority of the developed countries lost their existence to be in the war. Because of the war, a lot of loss is incurred, capital dearth is identified, and there was no huge demand within the countries itself. Therefore, foreign trade was most important requirement for most of the developing countries to enter into a developed countries to enter developing countries, where a lot of facilitations were required to be made. Therefore, there is a demand from both the sides. The developed country products need to be sold across the borders, where the developing countries were in need of the goods from the cross borders, because both the countries have excess and dearth of the goods. Therefore, international trades needs to be established. In that particular line, when the country started intervening into the international trade businesses, most of the developing countries were hesitating to enter into the international trade, basically because there was a more violation of the intellectual property rights and all that. That is why in 1967, Intellectual Property Organization world level was established. Let us understand today what are the feature, what are the intellectual property organization connected things. World Intellectual Property Organization is protecting innovations not only within the countries but across the cross borders. It is the association which is holding the responsibility of protecting the intellectual rights across the cross borders in the world. That is why this is what we call as the World Intellectual Property Organization stands the global guardian of intellectual property rights. It is the guardian for protecting the intellectual property rights, fostering an environment where innovation thrives and creators are protected. As a specialized agency of the United Nations, World what is Intellectual Property Organization works tirelessly to build a balanced intellectual IP systems that rewards creativity, stimulates innovation, and contributes to economic development while safeguarding the public interest. WIPO, at a glance, if you look into what are the working style when it is established and all that, let us have a little bit glance about it. Global Research and Landscape, if you look at this, is founded in 1967 and headquarters in Geneva. The headquarter of the World Intellectual Property Organization is established in Geneva, that is in Switzerland. Switzerland of Geneva country. WIPO has grown to include 193 member states worldwide. By 2020, 193 members were the initially it has started with the 7 member countries. Later on, 93 countries have become the members. But when the globalization took place, when the developing countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan all started entering into international trades, then 193 countries are the members of this organization. The organization has been led by Director General, that is Darren Tang. From 2020 onwards he is ruling, who previously headed Singapore's Intellectual Property Office. He belongs to Singapore Intellectual Property and has become the Director General. That is Darren Tang has become the Director General in 2020, bringing a fresh perspective to global IP governance. After his entry into that, a lot of fresh developments happened, and WIPO has become a major is playing a major role in controlling the intellectual property rights. As a specialized UN agency, that is United Nations agency, WIPO serves as the primary intellectual forum for IP policy development and cooperations, administering 26 international treaties. It means that there are 26 international treaties which are under the hold of this WIPO, and WIPO is governing the 26 different kinds of rules and regulations administered for international trade and business between the countries at the world level. Among these 29.6, there are several things which are pertaining to intellectual property rights. The most important them are covering the patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, geographical indications, and all these kinds of things are involved in that. Out of these 26, most important part is pertaining to intellectual property rights like patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, and geographical indications. WIPO governance structure includes the General Assembly, the conferences, and the coordination committee, ensuring representation across all the. It means that the governing council includes one is a director general. Right now, it is Darren Tang. Maybe changing after some times, but whosoever will be one of the director who is the most eminent personality in the field, elected by the members of the WIPO, and there will be representations from each country to make a assembly. That is what the common assembly. The assembly conducts conferences and creates awareness, and committees are established to take care of the violation of the WTO rules and all that, and it is administered effectively by the assembly of WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organizations. Why WIPO matters, empowers innovation and development. What are the various roles that is being played by the WIPO is first one, economic growth engine. WIPO is holding the economic growth engine. Economic growth is possible only when the intellectual property rights are protected, and this lead gives a trust or confidence to the innovative countries to enter into the developing countries and develop the innovation activities there, because its rights, when it is protected, they can earn huge amount of profit by the cross-border transactions, and copying of the intellectual property is prohibited by the host countries through WTO, because host country is the member of WTO. Host countries are a member of the WIPO, and they have to follow that. That is how the system is protecting the economic, protecting the copyrights and helping the economic growth for the international organizations. Global services and dispute resolution. WIPO is also involved in settling the disputes that is arising out of violation of intellectual property rights between the member countries. For example, if India is violating the intellectual property rights and start duplicating the foreign company products within the country, then WIPO will intervene through its member assembly organizations. When it receives the complaint from the foreign companies that India is violating, then India will be asked to stop it, and there are certain penalties levied for violation of that. This is what the WIPO is providing the services. Very important. Third one is capacity building and assistance. Any kind of assistance is developing is required for developing innovations and customized training programs in IP expertise. All these kind of activities are conducted by the WIPO. WIPO launches various kinds of awareness campaigns in the countries, develops a lot of awareness about the intellectual property rights, and also helps to build IP expertise in the field, and helps the countries to develop the legal framework for protecting the intellectual property rights. The innovator assistance programs connects under resources innovations with the patent autonomies and helping transformation innovative ideas into valuable commercial assets. It will not only protects the intellectual property, but also helps to develop a new innovations by providing the necessary legal inputs to them and converting that particular concept into a product and selling those products and helping the countries to sell those products in other countries, and also protects the interest of the innovators regarding the patent rights. These are all the various rules that is being played by the WIPO. Normally in the examination, question will be asked, what is WIPO? Write short notes on WIPO, or discuss the role played by WIPO in empowering innovation and development. Question may be asked like this. I hope this video is most useful to you, friends. I'm very much thankful to you for watching this video. Hope it gives you little insights. Any additional requirement relating to this, read the books which is mentioned in the list of your syllabus, that is reference books, and any queries you have, kindly contact me for the personal assistance. Thank you very much, friends. Hope this video is useful, and I wish you all the best for your examinations. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.